Have you felt recently that your spirituality is getting a little bit drier than usual, that you just feel spent, that your practices or whatever you do to make you feel like you are connected to God or the universe just feels like it's just not working? I would encourage you to not put God in a box. And we're going to talk about a couple of ways to do that. But first, we're going to look at 1 Samuel chapter 4 today. We're going to begin with this. The Philistines drew up in line against Israel. And when the battle was joined, Israel was defeated by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men on the battlefield. And when the troops came to the camp, the elders of Israel said, "Why has the Lord put us out to rout today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord here from Shiloh, so that he may come among us and save us from the power of our enemies." And so they had this idea that they would go back to what worked before. It's a lot like what an athlete might do. When an athlete finds something that works in a game, sometimes they're going to try to reproduce that effect by keeping the same routine. That might be a lucky pair of socks or some kind of pre-game ritual. And with the Super Bowl coming up, it might be kind of interesting to see what pre-game routines that the Bengals or the Rams might come up with. I'm sure that some of them have things that they're, well, it got me through the playoffs. This will work in the Super Bowl. In the same way, many of us try to reproduce success in our spirituality. And if we met, for instance, we met God at summer camp as a kid or some point in our life, we might sign our kids up for that same camp. If we found God with a certain hymn or a certain kind of worship genre, it can feel like someone is taking God away from us if we lose that genre or someone changes that hymn. Like an athlete who loses their lucky socks, we can become angry or despondent. So the Israelites in our story today were defeated, and they decided that they needed the Ark of the Covenant with them to win, because that's what worked in the past. That's what worked to make them feel God's presence. And the Ark was kind of a holy box that contained the original 10 Commandments. And if you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, you probably have a picture of what that Ark looked like in your head. But unlike in the movie, the Ark did nothing for the Israelite army. So what's the lesson for us? I think the lesson is that we should not look for God in the same places where we found God before. I think sometimes those routines are helpful for us, but sometimes they aren't helpful. They become an idol. They become lucky socks for us. And so we begin to look for God in all the wrong places. Or if we're parents, I have done this as a parent, we will try to reproduce the same experiences we had as youth or young people so that our kids will also know God. But that doesn't really work. And beside that, we can't reproduce the same criteria. There may not be 60 youth with the most popular kids, and so everyone wants to go to that youth group. That may not be the reality anymore. And it may not be the way that your kid gets to know God, but maybe that's in a small group of youth, or maybe that's in exploring things that are on the edge or the boundaries of society, about people who are marginalized. Maybe for them it's about racial justice. Whatever it is, it may not be the same place where we discovered God. It may be something that they need to find for themselves. The second thing I think we can do, that we can get from this remembrance or this mistake of the Israelites, is that we should seek a living relationship with God, and that we should seek that in maybe a way that we haven't before. So, for instance, if you've never been in a small group, try a small group. See if there's a group that works for you, or maybe a different small group. Or maybe you're going to meet with some people over coffee or Zoom. Whatever it is, shake it up a little bit. Don't just put God in a box, but go out into the field and discover God there. Maybe you'll go back and listen to previous sermons, or maybe you skip lunch today, and instead of eating lunch, you sit down and in your fasting, you just feel the emptiness and you invite God to fill that emptiness. There's so many different ways that you can take God out of the box and begin to surprise yourself spiritually. And you might just find that that dried up spirituality becomes alive again, that it becomes vibrant. And it might be that that flexibility is what also helps the next generation to experience God as well. God be with you. My name is Mantu. I'm one of the pastors at the San Ramon Valley United Methodist Church. We can be found at srvumc.org. That's SRV for San Ramon Valley, UMC for United Methodist Church.org. Come and visit us on our website. You'll find that there's many other ways that you can connect to us. Even if you are not able to come to us geographically, you can come to us online and worship with us. We'd love to have you. Please leave a note to let us know you are here, or a like, or you can even message us and let us know, or put in a small prayer request, maybe with just a first name of someone that you care about, and we'll be sure to pray for them. God be with you.